How does 10 more years of Harry Potter sound to you all? Good? Well, it's looking like that's what we're going to get from the new HBO Harry Potter series due for release in 2026. Although obviously that date might change due to post-production and whatnot. My name is Stephen and this is PotterWatch. We're here with the latest news. Stay tuned. So I think I first became aware of serious rumours around a Harry Potter series in about 2024. Although obviously the concept has been floated by fans for forever, and it makes sense because while the films did a great job with the source material, maybe film itself is a bit limiting as a medium for a wizarding world as rich in detail as what J.K. Rowling's given us. If we use Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone for our American friends as an example, the audiobook version of that, depending on which one you listen to, is about 8 hours and some change. The movie is 2 hours and 32 minutes long. So unfortunately, this does mean that a massive portion of that original story was left on the cutting room floor, including the original opening. We see in the book that Uncle Vernon leaves a tantruming Dudley at home to have his normal workday interrupted by strange gatherings of people in cloaks and whispers of the Potters and being called a muggle and cuddled by a stranger. And in the movie we open on Privet Drive with Albus Dumbledore, Professor McGonagall and Hagrid delivering Harry to his relatives, which is the end of the first chapter in the book, not the start. So when you're shortening 8 hours of source material down to a suitable length for a school-age cinema goer, you're going to lose important parts. For me, there's loads, particularly in the Philosopher's Stone, that were lost that I think were really important. Snape's potion puzzle is one of the biggest losts. If you're not familiar with this, then I'll fill you in. Alongside Hagrid's Fluffy, McGonagall's chess set, Professor Sprout's Devil's Snare, Flitwick's Flying Keys and Dumbledore's Mirror of Erised, there were two other protections put in place for the stone. Quirrell provided a troll, which in itself is a bit of a clue given that the troll break-in at Halloween is blamed on Snape at the time. So you start to put two and two together in this series of events leading up to Harry confronting Quirrell and Voldemort. And Snape provides a riddle that involves potions. And why is this important? Well, as Hermione points out in the book, most wizards don't possess an ounce of logic. They'd be stuck here forever. And it also sets Snape up as a very logical person, and we start to see that in his character, which again is really important as it foreshadows a lot of the stuff that comes later. Would you have solved the riddle? That's really interesting, isn't it? If you're not familiar with the riddle, or even if you are, you can see it over on PotterWatch.co in full. I've uploaded it as a blog post, so go and have a go. The answer is there, so don't cheat. Because that's the sort of opportunities that this series is going to give us, and I think we're really going to see some of those lost or kind of lesser expanded upon stories come through in full, and I'm really excited to see what the team do with it. Obviously this is very early days, this is all conjecture, we've absolutely no ties to the official kind of process of any of this. We're not HBO, Warner Brothers or anyone like that, as you probably guessed by the production value on this podcast. But yeah, this is just fan theory at this point, and we're just really excited to see what the team do with it. So looking beyond book one then, I think we can expect a deeper dive into Hogwarts lore, particularly things like Peeves, Winky the House Elf, the full extent of Hermione's activism with SPEW, and even nearly Headless Nick's Death Day party, which we kind of lost and was really important, could make their screen debut. More of the book's accurate character portrayals can be expected, so expect the Dursleys to be, well, they're the Dursleys, aren't they? Expect them to be as grotesque as ever. Expect Ginny to be a bit more fleshed out. Again, one of those characters that people that are loyal to the books tend to bring up quite a lot, that her character was very different. And it opened up that kind of shipping between Harry and Hermione, because obviously in the films they were quite close, and with the absence of that powerful, strong character of Ginny in the books, she was made softer in the films. you start to think maybe Harry and Hermione could have ended up together, whereas people that have read the books will tell you absolutely no, Ginny and Harry were supposed to be together forever, or maybe Luna even. And expect Luna, Neville, Draco, Creature, and other people like that who maybe have their stories lost a little bit in the films to be in much greater details within the series. Again, something to look forward to massively. Some of the most emotion-evoking scenes from the books were loudly absent from the films, and I am fully expecting, hoping, praying, fingers crossed, that HBO will remedy that and give them the face time that they deserve. The one that obviously springs to mind, I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't read the source material and you're going off the films, but there's a really, really moving scene with Neville in St. Mungo's, which is the hospital for magical maladies within the Wizarding World, where we meet his parents, and it is a really, it's a lovely scene. It's very emotion evoking, and it's one of those things that when they left it out of the films and they kind of gave Neville just that small bit of dialogue within the Dumbledore's army setting, I found it really disappointing that it wasn't included. So I'd love to see that in the series. Executives have hinted that the show will explore unseen parts of Hogwarts and the magical Britain, adding new layers of world building to the saga. Whether by untold they mean omitted from the movies, or if they mean expanding on the stories even beyond what the books did, remains to be seen. So it could include stories around the Marauders, or Snape's childhood, or the Potter's murder. We'll see. It is, according to HBO, a decade-long undertaking, and one that seeks to adapt Rowling's 7 books in greater detail than ever before, which just sounds wonderful to as a massive Harry Potter fan. It just sounds wonderful. I'm very excited. I hope you guys are too. And there's a lot riding on this, I think, for some fans. We are hoping that this will be the answer to some of the questions around what was left out in the films, which again, no hate on or shade on the films at all when you're condensing, and bearing in mind that Philosopher's Stone was the shortest book. When you're condensing 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 16 hours of content to a platform like film, it's very difficult to do. You are going to lose things. But if we are given the series per book, or even slightly more than a series per book, then we can really be creative with this. So fingers crossed, let's see what they do. So who is it that's bringing Hogwarts back to life then? Well, behind the series of series is a formidable creative team that's been assembled. Francesca Gardener, a writer, producer of Succession and Killing Eve, has been appointed as showrunner and head writer. She's known for her razor-sharp dialogue and knack of navigating morally complex worlds, which of course, if you do it properly, Harry Potter is. Gardener's stewardship suggests that this adaptation will bring depth and richness to the Wizarding world. Adding further magic to the production, Mark Mylod, whose previous titles include Game of Thrones and Succession, has signed on to direct multiple episodes and serve as an executive producer. IMDb has also listed David Heyman, a producer on the original films, which should ensure some level of continuity between past and present adaptations. And then, of course, we've got J.K. Rowling herself as an executive producer overseeing the integrity of the world that she built. So the really big question then is who will be playing Harry and Ron? The answer thus far is hidden behind a veil of secrecy. However, opening cast calls were made for young actors between 9 and 11. That went out in September 2024, and a staggering 32,000 hopefuls auditioned for the role. The casting process is ongoing, with HBO producers emphasising their desire to find fresh young talent to take on the iconic trio. No small task, given that the decision that they make will shape an entire generation's relationship with these characters. And given how phenomenally popular the franchise is, that's a lot of pressure in anyone's book. While the Golden Trio remain uncast, one legendary wizard has already found his latest incarnation, with John Lithgow set to play Albus Dumbledore. The 79-year-old third Rock from the Sun actor and 2-time Tony Award winner let slip that he was offered the role, and after much deliberation accepted. It wasn't an easy decision, said Lithgow, but it's a chance to do something truly special. Rumoured casts currently are Snape and McGonagall, and while HBO has yet to confirm further casting, Paapa Essiedu of I May Destroy You and Black Mirror fame is rumoured to be in final negotiations to play Severus Snape. His potential casting puts his character's age much closer to the canon, 31 years old, aligning with the book's timeline rather than the slightly older portrayal that was done by Alan Rickman. And there's been some controversy online about whether casting a black actor for the role is in line with the series' aim of fidelity to the books, and we'll be releasing a separate episode of PotterWatch where we discuss this in more detail. Janet McTeer from Ozark fame is allegedly in discussions to play Professor McGonagall, a role previously embodied by the wonderful Dame Maggie Smith. Now, we've listed Snape and McGonagall at this point as rumours. We're not confirming that at all. So let me tell you just a little bit about how we will be confirming or not confirming these things going forward. Obviously, there's lots of articles out there saying that they've been offered the roles, that they've accepted, that they're in final negotiations. What we're going to say is that unless we see it on somewhere like IMDb or somewhere where it's listed and we can fairly surely trust the information and we've heard it from the actors themselves, then we're going to leave it as a rumour. Obviously, unless the production comes out and kind of names them and does press around it, then obviously we'll update you. At the time of recording this, Paapa Essiedu and Janet McTeer are both listed on IMDb, but they have been tight-lipped about whether or not they are actually taking on the roles. As soon as we have anything from them or from the production studio, we will let you know. Filming is set to begin in the summer of 2025 at Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden, the very same studios where the original films were made, and the production will be one of the most expensive television projects ever undertaken, with HBO confirming that the budget per episode will rival House of the Dragon, which clocks in at around $20 million per episode. If all goes to plan, the series will premiere in 2026, though an early 2027 debut is not out of the question, as mentioned earlier, if post-production timelines get pushed back. Each season is expected to run for about 8 to 10 episodes, with Series 1 being set at 8 hours. The series arrives at a time of some division within the Potter fandom. Rowling's involvement guarantees authenticity, but also invites some controversy given her recent outspoken views on women's issues and LGBTQ issues. Many fans who were enthusiastic about a more book-faithful adaptation have already casted doubt based on casting and production decisions so far, and while others worry that the recasting of beloved roles and retreading familiar ground might not deliver the fresh magic that HBO hopes for, we can only see how this project advances as we go forward. I, for one, am remaining very hopeful. I think this is going to be fantastic, not just for the franchise, but for everyone involved, introducing a whole new cast to take on those iconic roles that are perhaps a little bit closer, at least in terms of character and age, to the characters that we've grown to love from the books. I think it's going to be really exciting. So whether you're clutching your wand in excitement or side-eyeing this project with sceptical curiosity, one thing is certain: Hogwarts is returning and the world is watching. So, what do you think? Will HBO's Harry Potter series be a triumphant return to the wizarding world, or a project doomed to be overshadowed by political controversy and its cinematic predecessors? Share your thoughts below. We really do want to hear from you. Currently, this is on the platforms YouTube, Spotify, and on the website at PotterWatch.co. There are blog sections on all three of those platforms, so please do talk to us. Let us know what you want to see more of in the future. We hope to keep this thing going all the way up until we can start doing watch parties for the actual series itself. We're really grateful to have you here and look forward to doing more together in the future. I've been Stephen, this has been PotterWatch. See you again soon.